help Indonesia Tzu Chi volunteers organize a rice distribution in Kamal community, West Jakarta. We learn more about dementia and the hardship people go through to care for patients with the condition. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Helen Liao. Thank you for joining us. Since 2003, Indonesia Tzu Chi volunteers have been responsible for distributing rice from Taiwan provided by the Council of Agriculture to impoverished residents. Recently, a rice distribution was held in West Jakarta's Kamal community, where a total of 1,050 sacks of rice were distributed. These aid recipients are actually an extension of care recipients from an 82-home rebuilding project in the Kamal community. Representatives of the Taipei Economic and Trade Office in Jakarta was also at the venue to help distribute the love from Taiwan.
Working with the Indonesian government, Tzu Chi volunteers have long been here to assist the needy residents of Kamal community in West Jakarta.
Berhubung binan kita itu hanya 82
There are only
warga.
82 Tzu Chi care recipient families in the Kamal area. But there are also others in this community that need our assistance. This is why we have come to distribute rice to them.
Since 2003, Taiwan's Council of Agriculture has donated rice to help Indonesia. This time, Tzu Chi volunteers are here to distribute 1,050 sacks of rice, each weighing 20 kilograms, to the needy.
The $17 I make a month is not enough, but thankfully I have a job. People are never satisfied, but we can try to save some money.
A sack of rice can sustain a family for a month, which gives those who want to give back to society the means to do so.
Rice is a staple food. What's important is that we want these residents to understand that when life throws you hurdles, you shouldn't bow down to it. Instead, you should strive to overcome it.
Although the rice from Taiwan will eventually be consumed, for residents who received it, their future already seems brighter.
Today we meet a 24-year-old diabetes sufferer, Zheng Hui from China. Not wanting to add to his mother's burden after she remarried, Zheng chose to leave home. However, the severity of his condition almost made him want to end his own life. Thankfully, the love and care of Tzu Chi volunteers put him out of the pit of despair.
A late-night phone call has volunteers rushing to the hospital emergency room. Huddled up in the corner of the ER, Zheng Hui is in excruciating pain. Having no money to pay for insulin injections for his diabetes, the lack of insulin in his body triggered ketoacidosis.
在这里躺多久了？躺了1天了。现在感觉怎么样？很爽。
Originally from Hunan, the 24-year-old has been roaming the streets for the past 2 years before making his way to Shenzhen. As his condition worsened, it was the volunteers who pulled him out of his pit of despair. What Zhen longs for the most, however, is the taste of his mother's cooking.
I miss my mom's potato and cabbage soup the most.
Wise beyond his years, perhaps it is because he has witnessed the fickleness of human nature. However, deep down, there is still a yearning for the warmth of family. Tzu Chi volunteer Hong Tiangui made several calls to Zhen's mother that finally reunited the mother and son. However, the longest distance in the world is being seated at the same table, yet hearts are apart. He was doing it out of consideration for me. He didn't want me to still have to look after him at my age. He said he didn't want to add to my burden, so he chose to leave home and take care of himself. It pains me that he went through all this. Not wanting to add to his mother's burden after she remarried was why Zhen chose to leave home in the first place. Volunteers called on a fellow villager from Hunan, Wang Lichen, to accompany Zhen to apply for his travel document. Sympathizing with his condition, Wang used his personal experience to encourage the young man.
I was once in the same boat as you. Once you get better, don't forget to give back to society, all right? We should reciprocate and do more good deeds.
Ready to embark on his new journey, Zhen barely got any sleep the night before. Under the company of volunteers, Zhen set out to Nanshan Temple in Huazhou, a 7-hour journey by bus. This is where Zhen will settle in the coming days.
各位孩子年纪才20来岁，是吗？是25岁，对，也麻烦这位大叔多照顾他。
Volunteer Hong Tiangui has long viewed Zhen as his own son. It was this genuine love that saved Zhen from wanting to take his own life.
那里有一条河呀，反正都上了栏杆，然后我就跳上去。
There was a river and I climbed on top of the railing. I thought I might as well jump and everything will be over. Since I've hit rock bottom, nobody can help me now. Then I remembered that I hadn't said goodbye to Uncle Tiangui, so I called another volunteer to have her tell him that I'm leaving. She responded, "You're so cruel to do that to us. What would we do if you just left us? We care so much for you."
Everyone has a purpose in life, including Zhen Hui. Reunited with his mother once again, Zhen will spend the coming days at this temple. This peace charm hanging in his room is symbolic of the new hope that starts here.
In our next report, we go to Tainan Tzu Chi Senior High School in Taiwan to meet 2 teachers who have continued to change students' lives with their classes. Let's take a look.
When we talk about Xinling, we think about something related to medicine. What about Jing?
Teaching students through stories and quotes is Tainan Tzu Chi Senior High School teacher Yan Yushi, who always encourages students to keep trying.
I always remind my students what are the tasks they need to fulfill. I tell them it is okay to make mistakes as long as they try. We need to give them a chance to improve.
During her spare time, Yan sees every opportunity to interact with her students and help them to explore their inner self.
We need to contribute 100% of our strength to our lives, our goals, and those we love so dearly.
Offering her students endless support, Yan hopes that they can walk away with an experience that will benefit them for the rest of their lives.
I believe my students will walk away with a different perspective and attitude towards life.
一种精神，一种态度。
Although it is recess, Chen Hongzhi still takes time to answer his students' questions. With his friendly attitude, Chen has built up great friendship with his students, including those who have already graduated.
When my former students came back, one of them told me that they were the only students that used reusable cups in their dormitory. But after a semester, everyone followed suit.
Chen says he never asks his students to always strive for the best grades, but instead to have the curiosity and willingness to ask questions.
I hope my students can learn to distinguish the difference between right and wrong, and most importantly, remain steadfast on the path of learning.
就是说对的事情要坚持。
As Chen Hongzhi has been teaching at the Tainan Tzu Chi Senior High School since its establishment, over the years he has come up with a clearer picture of what education should be
看
like.
得到那一条往人师走的这条路。
The school and Tzu Chi have helped me find a clear path and understand the role of a teacher.
亮的灯告诉我们这条路在这里。
In the years to come, students and faculty members of the Tainan Tzu Chi Senior High School will continue to light up each other's lives with the seeds of compassion in their hearts. Prior to presenting the musical adaptation of Sutra of Profound Gratitude Towards Parents, Singapore Tzu Chi sees every chance to practice. Knowing that many Tzu Chis lack the experience in staging such a performance, Tzu Chi alumni offered their assistance. Though Yu Chenghan had to commute between Singapore and Malaysia for the past 3 months, thanks to his unwavering support, many Tzu Chis have gained the courage and confidence to accomplish their goal.
As Singapore Tzu Chis prepare for the musical adaptation of Sutra of Profound Gratitude Towards Parents, Tzu Chi alumni have arrived to provide support. Tzu Chi alumnus Qiu Lilian, who directed the same performance 10 years ago, is here to guide the less experienced Tzu Chi despite her busy work schedule.
I was a Tzu Chi once, so I will be a Tzu Chi all my life.
As we lack experience, she will first listen to our thoughts before providing feedback and making adjustments. This gives us much confidence during our rehearsal.
我会设计一些小环节在那边进行一些亲子的互动。
Though Tzu Chi alumnus Yu Chen Han has to help with his father's business in Johor Bahru, Malaysia, he still takes on the coordinating job of the performance and commutes between the two countries on weekends.
As the karmic relation keeps on changing, the Tzu Chis are growing constantly. I have to take this opportunity and push them toward the next milestone, bringing them to a higher level.
那个 platform 的东西，所以我们有需要去看嘛，就是。
While in Singapore, Yu still has to take care of his business. Thankfully, his father has been very supportive.
最近这个活动啊，还有你现在负责这个东西都很有意义啦。就是一种付出嘛，那我们就是基本上是会支持。
Let us take this opportunity and make the best out of this karmic relation. Then we can move on to fulfill a greater karmic relation.
With Tzu Chi alumni's guidance, the performance has turned even more meaningful, as knowledge and experience are passed down from one generation to the next.
According to Taiwan's Ministry of Health and Welfare, 4.97% of Taiwanese ages 65 or older suffer from dementia, which means 1 in every 20 seniors suffers from the disease. In the first episode of our new series, we document what happens as the disease degenerates, as well as the problems faced by the caregivers or family members who look after those with the condition.
6、7、8，1、2、3、4。那你先告诉我你叫什么名字？
我姓黄。
然后呢？叫黄什么？
上黄。
黄什么？
黄。
He doesn't remember much from the past few decades. For instance, the first time he visited the emergency room, that memory is still vivid. It was last October. He told the doctors and nurses that I was a thief and I kidnapped him. He asked the doctors to call the police to take me away.
4块加2块。对。4块。
4块加2块是4块，是不是
？8块。
According to statistics, total in 2011, in Taiwan, the aging population is around 11 to 12% of the total population. Those who suffer from dementia are around 190,000 to 200,000 in number, which is about 1% of the elderly. I believe this number will rise significantly in the future.
贝贝，我看一下你的眼睛，你往上看可以吗 ？OK， 好，好，那你这样听得到吗？耳朵可以哈，这边可以哈。白天就尽量要给。
In the mornings, try to find things for him to do to keep his brain active. For instance, constantly ask him questions. Currently, I do recommend he converse for at least 5 minutes a day. For example, 5 in the morning and 5 in the afternoon.
你只有线条哈，我讲法5分钟。
讲法
啊，讲5分钟，讲5分钟的话，哦，早上、下午、晚上都。
中的停哦。难，他说难。
很难哦，哈，没关系，尽量就好，尽量就好。
In taking care of elders who suffers from dementia, I recommend for everyone to think of their behavior as a reaction to their body's deterioration. Just like when we are taking care of young children, their bad behavior isn't on purpose either. If you don't have patience or love, just respecting their wishes is enough.
好。再来，咱去楼顶拄啊食水果拄啊好，好不好？
We've met a few special cases where the seniors are in the mid to heavy phase of the disease, and they will leave the house by themselves and won't remember the way home. Often, they are then sent to the police, while others might go out and purchase the same items over and over. This way, it becomes a burden on family members as well.
日本囡仔古早时代，咱的囡仔，你孙仔有无？就细汉的时，你细汉的时，捌看过无？看啥？看这个红仔飘，这红仔飘，有无？
In Taiwan, nearly 2,500 people lost their lives to the 9/11 earthquake of 1999. In an instant, many children became orphans and many seniors lost their children. Both have had to fend for themselves since. In today's series, to mark the 15th anniversary of the disasters, we check on an orphan and several seniors. Sadly, they all could still use a helping hand.
I often wondered, why does everyone else have their mother and father, but I don't? It was all because of that earthquake.
是因为这场地震。
This was when she was just born at the hospital. See, the date here is June 24th.
When Xiao Caizhu lost her son and daughter-in-law, her baby granddaughter was barely 3 months old.
She was sleeping in her crib, which fell upside down with her inside.
I don't have any memory of them. I can only see them by looking at the photographs. I have been riding on this for years. Since I was in elementary school, I had always thought it was weird to ride this.
Living in the mountains, a converted tractor truck is Huiling's mode of transportation.
You can't worry about what others think of you. You just have to be yourself.
To better care for her grandma, Huiling decided to become a nurse after completing junior high. She will soon leave home and become a boarding student.
I want to better care for my grandmother.
阿嬷的身体，阿嬷很会流汗。阿嬷流汗都用滴的。
Without the means to rebuild after the quake, the pair lives in a home built out of 2 containers. The baby then has now grown into a fine young girl and is working to fill her parents' shoes.
I think she has done a wonderful job. She's an amazing and wonderful grandmother.
很伟大的阿嬷，我会好好的用功读书长大，然后我会帮你们照顾阿嬷这样子，她到老。
If I treat this place as my home, if I treat all these seniors as if they are my parents, I believe I can do a better job.
Seniors made homeless by the 9/11 earthquake make up the members of this village.
Village chief is but a title for outsiders. Actually, I'm more like the eldest daughter-in-law here.
She's letting us stay here unconditionally, so we are just doing whatever we can to help out.
The unexpected created a senior community never seen before in Taiwan.
Here, the healthy ones help care for the weaker ones. It's a community where seniors help each other out.
The handicraft class meant to strengthen the seniors' dexterity unexpectedly produced profitable souvenirs. The village can't just survive on government subsidies and has to find other ways to generate income.
At
80 years old, Grandpa Xu is glad that he can still wait on others. In the last 15 years, the village has cared for over 250 seniors, many of whom stayed here until their dying day.
I only remember up to the 12th person who passed away here. After all, too many things have happened here in 15 years.
Now, the village cares for more than simply earthquake victims. It also shelters the elderly who have no one to turn to. The village has become a beacon of hope for the marginalized and forgotten. Unable to retire from her position, Chen Fangzi can only continue to devote herself after having already dedicated the best 15 years of her life. She can only hope that someone will also be there to watch over her one day.
Wouldn't it be nice that if there were more places like our village where people of similar ages can grow old together and keep each other company? I think that would be nice. The 2014 China Charity Fair successfully concluded in Shenzhen, Guangdong Province on September 21st. This year, besides earning recognition as one of the most transparent charities, the Tzu Chi Foundation was also given the Best Exhibitor Award. And thanks to the dedication of volunteers from both sides of the Taiwan Strait, many of the fair's participants also gained a better understanding on how the Buddhist NGO runs its missions. Here's more.
The special music player is called Fu Fu Zu.
After listening to the volunteers' explanation, children realized that this electronic device that looks like a Chinese temple block is actually a music player.
I can hear the voice of Master Zeng Yan. We need to gather everyone's heart and strength together.
People in the city are always busy, so when they go home, they really need something that can ease their mind. The soothing music and the master's teachings in the special music player can definitely bring them peace of mind.
At the 2014 China Charity Fair, besides interacting with fairgoers, Tzu Chi volunteers also seized the chance to introduce Tzu Chi's values to other NGOs.
When we are designing a product, we always make sure to incorporate the needs of disaster survivors in its design. That's why we invented Tzu Chi's instant rice, because we hope disaster victims could have access to food more easily. After receiving help from Tzu Chi, we hope to inspire them to become givers.
The volunteers' dedication and hard work during the charity fair was recognized with the reception of the Best Exhibitor Award. Furthermore, on the last day of the charity fair, more than 30 NGOs visited the Tzu Chi Shenzhen office to learn more about their organization.
I want to bring back the experience I have learned from the Tzu Chi Foundation to Shandong Province and Bingzhou City. I want to share the good deeds the organization has been doing with those around me.
I have learned so much from visiting Tzu Chi's booth. I realized that doing good deeds should start from the heart. Our world will be a better place when people are willing to contribute and help the less fortunate.
Besides gaining a better understanding of Tzu Chi, many are deeply inspired by its Jingsi aphorisms.
Life's harshest punishment is regret.
Forging harmonious relationships in daily lives requires that we be flexible and accommodating when upholding our principles. I think this phrase is wonderful. Master Zeng Yan is so full of wisdom.
Thanks to a trip to the Tzu Chi Shenzhen office, many have realized that a harmonious society can be achieved when everyone has a pure and kind heart. We go to Taiwan's Tainan City at the end of the show. An inauguration ceremony was held at the municipal Dongyan Junior High School, where students can finally study in prefabricated classroom built by the Tzu Chi Foundation. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for watching DaAi Headlines. Goodbye.